Yes. Man's got glasses on, you know. What do you think of that? What do you think of these fucking glasses, man? They're not all that, are they? They're not all that at all. I found them on the bus. I don't even need glasses. I just found them on a bus today, you know what I mean? You know, my car, it failed its MOT, so I had to get on a bus, you know, because I didn't want to buy a new car, you know what I mean? I've been spending a shitload of money, you know, on cryptocurrency, so I didn't want to waste money buying a car, so I bought some fucking... I didn't buy these glasses. I found them on a bus. And I thought, I'm going to put these glasses on, you know, in my videos and see how I would look. Do you think I look quite sexy? You think I'd get a lot of pussy in these glasses? Do I look like Malcolm X or... You look like a nerd, lol. You know nerds. You know, in school, we used to like look down on nerds, didn't we? We didn't used to like them, did we? We used to fucking look down on nerds. Because they weren't good at football, were they? And they didn't get any pussy, you know what I mean? They weren't really popular. They were always like picked last, you know, in the football team. You know, for the football, they were always picked last, weren't they? You know, nerds. But you know, those nerds now, those guys have like created YouTube. You know, and Google and Facebook and Amazon and Tesla and Microsoft. And you know those popular kids in the class who got a load of pussy, who were popular because they were good at football. These guys now, yeah, 20 years on, they're fucking in dead-end jobs, you know, with like 4 kids to 4 different women, you know, because they got a load of pussy. They're in dead-end jobs, paying out a load of child support to a load of baby mamas. So when you think about it, you're probably better off being a nerd. It's probably better to be a nerd, isn't it? But yeah, I find these glasses on a bus, innit? They're not, I don't need to wear them at all. They're actually prescription glasses, so they're fucking up my eyes now. It's like really blurry, you know what I mean? So I can't really see these comments. So I'm going to take them off in a minute. Because I don't need them at all. Ty and the knowledge booth, yeah. You know, Spencer Fear, and he wears glasses, don't he? You know, trying to look like Malcolm X. He wants that look, don't he? He's all about the black superior race, you know, like Joshua. He fucking wants to be like that, don't he? Those glasses were fucking me up, man. The bloke off the Halifax advert. Yeah, Coogan met him, didn't he? Took a little photo with him and that, but what's going on? I ain't done a live for like 2 weeks, you know. My microphone broke in it and I was having a few little technical issues, so I had to order a new mic, you know, from Amazon. It came like yesterday, so kind of missed the lives, man. Kind of missed them, you know what I mean? So it's good to be back and see how everyone's getting on. Where's Bruce Lee? He's normally first in the live, innit? Bruce Lee. You look like a poor man's Eubanks Senior. Yeah, I know. He used to wear that monocle, didn't he? That was just for show, wasn't it? He didn't. Canelo slapped the glasses clean off that boy. Oh, Caleb Plant. Yeah, that was fucking interesting, wasn't it? That was so interesting. Canelo pushed him, yeah. And like, you know, Caleb Plant, he went right out of the video shot. He went so far back, you know, just from that push. He actually went out of the screenshot. He went out of the camera. You know what I mean? He pushed him, didn't he, like that? What do you think? Do you think that's steroids? Do you think that's down to like performance enhancing drugs? Or do you think he's just like a tough Mexican? Because like people say, oh, he's drugged up, Canelo. Do you know what I mean? He's on the Mexican beef. But, you know, before all of these drugs came into boxing, all these, I was going to say STDs, but that's sexual, isn't it? What are they called? What are they called? Whatever, performance enhancing drugs. PEDs. You know, before all of these came into boxing, there were still like tough Mexicans, you know, like Barrera and Eric Morales and Julio Cesar Chavez. So, I don't know, you can't just put that big push from Canelo down to drugs. But it was a good push, wasn't it? I've got a cigar here, you know. You know what I mean? You know how much this cigar was? It was like £6.99, so that's quite a lot, innit? I don't smoke these like every day because it will just cost too much. It costs too much, man. I've been investing money in cryptocurrency. I bought about 12 grand's worth of crypto about 3 days ago. And as soon as I bought it, it fucking dropped by about 5 grand. And I was going fucking mental. What's everyone up to? Everyone all good, yeah? But you know when Canelo pushed that Caleb Plant and he went far out of the shot, Caleb Plant tried to slap Canelo, didn't he? And like Canelo, he like leaned back like that, didn't he? He like leaned back, you know, and the slap missed him, didn't he? You know, his defense, his little lean backs, he's learned a lot from the Mayweather fight, hasn't he? That was a good little lean back, wasn't it? And then he threw like a left hook and then he like slapped him like that, Canelo. He like slapped him. He didn't punch him, did he? Because he knew if he like punched him like that, it might have fucked up his hand. You know what I mean? So he did the right thing, didn't he? Because like if you hit somebody like that, you know when I knocked out a woman, you know, with my fist, my hand was swollen for about a month after that. So you know if you punch somebody with your fist closed, you know, it'll mess up your hand. So Canelo, he needs his hands, you know, to be in good shape, good condition, you know, for the fight. He got a bit personal, didn't he, Canelo? You know, because Caleb Plant called Canelo a motherfucker. And obviously Canelo's English, it's not the best, is it? So he thought that Caleb Plant said, I want to fuck your mum. You know, when he called him a motherfucker. But he didn't mean that, did he? Yep, Canelo, man, sharp, innit? You know, that little lean back and then yeah, fuck, you know. You know Johnny Nelson said that. You know when people talk about Mayweather beating Canelo, and then people saying, oh yeah, but Canelo, he was young, he was inexperienced. Johnny Nelson said, yeah, but Mayweather was old. So it kind of balances out, don't it? What do you think of that? That was quite a little interesting little perspective on it from Johnny Nelson. When they boxed each other, Mayweather was a bit old, but Canelo was young and inexperienced. But I think Mayweather, he wasn't that old, was he? He wasn't that old. That fight was years and years ago. So Mayweather, you know, he still had that experience. It's not like he was punch drunk and he was slow and his reactions were fucked up. He was still like sharp, wasn't he? He wasn't that old. He wasn't that fucked up, was he? Like Holyfield. You know, Holyfield getting messed up by that MMA fighter. It's no good, is it? And like Eddie Hearn was saying, oh, these guys who are taking percentages from Holyfield, you know, his managers, his trainers, you know, his little dietitians, they should be ashamed of themselves. They're to blame for Holyfield, you know, getting back in boxing. But they're not, are they? He's a grown man. He's in his fucking 50s. Yeah? He's about 58 years old. So he's a grown man, innit? So it's down to Holyfield. You know, if Holyfield got in touch with me and said to me, I want you to hold my spit bucket for £20,000, I'd do it. I'd fucking do it. I don't care. You know, he's a grown man, innit? So if he wants to keep fighting, it's up to him. I'm going to take the money. So you can't, you know, Eddie Hearn trying to have got the trainers and the dietitians and the strength and conditioners for taking money from Holyfield and, you know, kind of getting behind him. It's his fault, innit? He's a fucking grown man. Mayweather TBE. Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to rate Mayweather. You know, Holyfield getting fucked up and Pacquiao getting fucked up by that Ugas. You know, Mayweather loved that, don't you? You know, Mayweather loved Pacquiao getting beat by Ugas. Because it kind of like... People were saying that, you know, Pacquiao... People were saying that Pacquiao, like... has achieved more than Mayweather, you know, because he's probably won more titles at different weights, you know, so there was a bit of like... There was a bit of a debate, you know, who's achieved more. Some people were saying Pacquiao. So, you know, Mayweather, he was glad, wasn't he? You know, when Pacquiao got beat by Ugas. He was fucking glad, man, even though he probably said in a video, yeah, Pacquiao, he's one hell of a fighter. You know what I mean? You know, Mayweather trying to build him up. He knows full well he was glad that Pacquiao got beat. Mayweather went out on a high, didn't he? That's what I mean. You know, Mayweather having these little silly fights at the end of his career against that Japanese guy and Logan Paul and Conor McGregor and that guy that he beat, that boxer, in his last fight, his last boxing fight. Like, Mayweather went out on a high, didn't he? You know, Pacquiao, he kind of fucked up. Holyfield, he kind of fucked up, didn't he? That's why you have to rate Lennox Lewis, though. I said this before in the other video. You have to rate Lennox Lewis. You know, he went out, you know, on a high. He beat everybody that he boxed. He boxed Klitschko in the end, and he kind of realised that he was starting to, you know, he was starting to realise that he was starting to lose it, didn't he, Lennox Lewis? So he went out, you know, with his health intact, with a shitload of money, you know, with that undisputed title reign. And he didn't really have anything about him, did he, that people could slag him off about, could he? Could they, Lennox Lewis? He didn't have any dirt on him, you know what I mean? You know, Holyfield, he had like 3 divorces, you know, and he had like 11 kids. So he was paying out child support, you know, to about 11 baby mamas. You know, and he got married and divorced and he's getting fucked up in Triller. But, you know, Lennox Lewis, no one could really say anything bad about him, could they? You remember Hasim Rahman? He tried to call Lennox gay, didn't he? He tried to diss him, you know, call him gay. But Lennox is happily married, man. Kawasaki did the same. He left at the right time. Yep, that's true. Kawasaki is another classy guy, innit? He won his titles, his world titles, retired unbeaten, made his money, and then fucked off. Beat a couple of legends, Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, and then he fucked off, didn't he? Went out on top, and he doesn't crave the limelight, does he? Like Tony Bellew. You know, Tony Bellew, he's fucking desperate, innit, to be on camera, even though he said he's sick of it. I missed some of these super chats, you know. Some people have been saying something. Illicit Music, give me £5. Easy Tea, good to see you back. What do you think to women, men fighting in the same weight division? Equality, be safe. Well, that's a good question. Now, thanks for that super chat. Men and women fighting each other. You know that woman, what's her name? Savannah Marshall. She said in an interview with that fucking Coogan that she knows like women's limitations. She knows full well that women aren't on the same level as men, you know, physically. She knows that men's like bone structures and their fucking testosterone, you know, are on a different level. That's what she said, didn't she, that Savannah Marshall? You know, she's being real, isn't she? I used to spar with a black lesbian, you know, Nicola Adams. And she was like a Olympic gold medalist, a world champion. And I used to fucking mess her up. I used to fuck her up. And I was a little nobody in boxing, do you know what I mean? But I used to fuck her up. Same with Serena Williams. She's like the #1 tennis woman in the world, isn't she? But she played a man who was like ranked number 100 in the world, and he fucking beat her. He really messed her up, you know, at tennis. So it's just how it is, innit? You can't change nature, man. You can't fucking change nature, can you? Let me scroll back and look at some of these super chats. People are giving me money, you know, and I just keep forgetting to read it out. So I'm just going to scroll back, man. What do you think? Joshua or Usyk? Who have you got for that? Who have you got? Shout out to G-Man Boxing. Give me a super chat. Big up Ty. Think I deserved a signed Be Safe t-shirt at this stage. Keep winding up old bent legs. Yep, definitely. I owe you, man. Every live I do, you like donate, you know, like a nice amount of cash. I want to know your bank balance, because I see you on other people's lives as well, you know, donating cash. You're making that money, yeah? You're buying Bitcoin. You're buying some crypto. Kedders super chat said, would you rather watch your mom and dad sleep together every night for the rest of your life, or sleep with your mom once to make it stop? Pick one. What do you mean sleep or fuck? Are you talking about fucking my mom, or like just sleeping in the same bed? Because you said sleep, innit? Sleep as in what? Yeah, that's a weird question, man. But I'm not into incest. But I would fuck my cousin. I met one of my cousins, you know, at my gay uncle's funeral, and she looked really nice, fucking hot as fuck. She's about 21. There was two of them in it. One of them was 21. She looked quite nice, innit? So incest, it depends, innit? It depends how close they are to you. blood wise. See, if it's like your second cousin, it don't really matter, does it? It's fuck 'em. What do you think though, Joshua Usyk? Did you watch that public workout? It was a bit shit, wasn't it? It was a bit boring, wasn't it? You know, Joshua acting like a diva, you know, just going in there and just fucking... You know, Joshua, he said in an interview that he spars, you know, he spars like 2 days before his fight. That's what he said in an interview with that Kogan, innit? So, you know what I mean? He should have got in there and like hit the pads at least, you know, and give us a bit of a show. He didn't fucking give us any entertainment, did he? It was a bit boring, wasn't it? You know, Usyk, he was like juggling, wasn't he? Juggling. We don't want to see that. We want to see you hitting the pads or sparring, you know what I mean? We want to see a bit of action. We're tuning in for action. We don't want to see you fucking juggling, man. Yeah, juggling. Juggle these knots. Yeah, juggle these knots. We don't want to fucking see you juggling. We want to see you hitting the pads and fucking sparring, and we want to see some action, man, not juggling. It's no good, is it? The undercard's a bit shit, innit? Lawrence Okoli against Dylan Prazovic. You know what I mean? Who's that? Who the fuck is that? Callum Smith against Lenin Castillo. That's no good, is it? That's ridiculous size. Well, you know, Eddie Hearn, he's going to try and build it up in here and say, oh, you know, it's Callum Smith's first fight at light heavyweight, so, you know, let's let him ease into the division and, you know, and fucking get settled in. Nah, forget that. Nah, forget that. We're not interested in all that shit, are we? You know, R.I.P. Hagler. You know, you would never have heard him saying, oh, I need to ease into the weight division, you know, and get settled in. Let me have a little easy fight. You know, he wasn't like that, was he? R.I.P. Hagler. He was just fucking hardcore. You know, he'd fight anybody and have a war. You know, with Tommy Hearns. So I'm not into all that. Oh, he needs a warm-up fight. He needs a little tick-over fight. He needs a little settle into the weight fight. I'm not interested in all that. It's no good, is it? Especially when we're paying. You either fight somebody good or you don't fucking fight at all and get paid. So that's what Eddie Hearn needs to start doing. You know, Dana White, that's what he says to his fighters. He says you either fight somebody good or you fuck off to Bellator. Then you're not fighting in the UFC, you're fucking off to Bellator. So Rob Brown says, get out of my gym. That's an Anthony Joshua reference, you know, when he told me to get out of his gym. And that's just reminded me of something. You know, today, earlier on today, this woman messaged me on Instagram, yeah, and she said to me, I've got Anthony Joshua's phone number. He slept with one of my mates, and I got his phone number. You know, if you want to give him a ring and ask him why he told you to get out of his gym. And I thought, no, that's not true, is it? It's fake news. It's not real. You know what I mean? So I like rang the number that she gave me, yeah, and it was ringing, but he didn't answer, Joshua. So I like added him on WhatsApp. You know what I mean? So I wanted to have a chat with him. You know what I mean? And just see if he wanted to meet up. You know, in the streets. You know, meet up in a dark alleyway, you know, one-on-one. No cameras, no fucking entourage. No fucking AKA skins. Just me and Joshua, you know, meet up in a dark alleyway. And we'll have a fucking straightener. But he didn't answer, did he? He didn't want it, did he? Well, I might go to London tomorrow. I booked a bus, you know, to go to London, you know, for the Joshua Usyk fight. Like, I ain't really got a ticket for the actual fight, but I meant the fight week, you know, the weigh-in, the press conferences. I booked a bus in it, so I might go in it. Depends what time I wake up. I might wake up a bit hungover in it. So I don't know if I'll get down there, but I might go down with my camera, you know, and just try and put it on Joshua, you know, to try and go viral, you know, to get my subscribers up to a good level. And my views and my fucking ad revenue. So, but you know that woman who said that she'll give me that gave me Joshua's phone number. I don't know. I remember one time when this woman messaged me on Instagram, yeah, and she was like, yeah, you know Coogan, yeah? He's been sending me a load of messages, you know, in my direct messages. He's been sending me a load of messages. Look at this message that he sent me. And she like took a screenshot of the message that Coogan sent to her. And she sent it me. And she was like, look at what Coogan said to me on Instagram. Do a video slagging him off about it. And like, he didn't really say anything bad. I can't remember what the message was that Coogan said, but it was nothing bad, innit? It was nothing that bad, but you know when she sent me that message saying, yeah, Coogan's been messaging me, look at these messages. You know, and she sent it me. I just thought, you know what, I'm not really into that, you know. I'm not really into that at all, because like, you know, she's doing that to Coogan. She could like do it to me. You know, if I sent this woman a photo of my dick, she could send it to Coogan or fucking the Black Quitter or who else? Michelle Hoare Phelps or one of those fuckers. You know, one of my boxing enemies. You know, to try and. So I just felt like, you know, if she's doing that to Coogan, sending me screenshots of his messages, she could do that to me, innit? So like, I messaged Coogan. Even though me and Coogan don't really see eye to eye, I messaged him and I said, Coogan, you know this woman here, she's like taking screenshots of your messages. So you need to watch out with this woman, yeah? You need to watch out what you're saying to this fucking woman. Because she's sending me your messages. And Coogan, he was like, yeah, alright. You know what I mean? You know, he's a bit arrogant. You know what I mean? He's a bit arrogant in it. So he was like, alright then. You know, instead of saying, yeah, thanks for letting me know, I appreciate you letting me know that this woman is taking screenshots of my messages and sending them on to you. I appreciate you letting me know. You know, he didn't. He was just like, alright then. You know, he's a bit fucking arrogant. And I just thought, alright, fuck off then. I'm trying to fucking help you out here, you know. I'm trying to fucking help you out, man. But he didn't want it, did he? He didn't want to hear it at all. Fucking Holyfield. These boxers are dumb, aren't they? A lot of these boxers. It's like Shane Mosley, innit? He got married to a little Chinese woman, yeah? And then he started cheating on her, and she divorced him. And she took like a big chunk of his money, yeah? And she took his fucking belts, you know, that he won in boxing. The courts gave her his belts. So he lost his belts, you know, being in boxing for like 30 years. Getting punched, running up hills, dieting. You know, all that discipline and hard work and dedication just to finally make it and then hand over a big chunk of your money and your fucking belts to a woman. It's not worth it, is it? It's not worth it at all, man. It's not worth it, man. So that's what I mean about Lennox Lewis. He kind of retired on top, didn't he? You know, with his money. You know, he got the bag, didn't he? But some boxers fuck up. some retire on a high, you know, like Lennox. Hasim Rahman was trying to call him gay, wasn't he? You know, trying to smear his name, but it didn't really stick. You know, and then Lennox fucked him up. You know, Lennox, when he boxed Hasim Rahman in the rematch, Lennox threw like a left hook, you know, to blind him. And then he threw a right hand and just laid him out, you know, for all that gay slander. Came out of boxing kind of untarnished, didn't he, but Lennox Lewis. You know, Chris Eubank Sr., you know, his little illegitimate son kind of appeared on the scene, didn't he, and kind of exposed Eubank Sr. You know, Eubank Sr., English, he tries to act all fucking classy, don't he, you know, with his little suits and his little monocles. You know what I mean? Let's have some parliamentary procedure here, you know, trying to talk like that, trying to be all upstanding and all, you know what I mean? And then his little son came out of the woodwork, Nathaniel Wilson, you know, and said, this guy Eubank Sr., he abandoned me. You know, he turned his back on me, he fucked me off. Yeah, man. Eubank. What do you think of that? You know, Seb Eubank died, didn't he? You know, I don't want to sound a bit negative, but like, you know, Chris Eubank Sr., you know, if he could like, you know, hypothetically speaking, you know, if he could bring back Seb Eubank in exchange for his illegitimate son, Nathaniel Wilson, dying, do you think he would? I think he would, you know. You know, if Eubank Sr. hypothetically could bring back Seb Eubank and make his illegitimate son Nathaniel Wilson be dead instead, I think Eubank Sr. would do it, wouldn't he? I think he would, wouldn't he? He'd never admit it, but I think he would. It's just a fact, innit? I think Eubank Sr. would prefer to have his illegitimate son, Nathaniel Wilson, dead instead of Seb Eubank, you know, the son that he's with. Like, I've got a brother, yeah, who's older than me. And my mum probably loves him more than she loves me. But I don't hold a grudge against my mum. I don't think bad of her. I'm not bitter at the fact that my mum loves my brother, my older brother, more than she loves me, because he was born first, wasn't he? So it's just how it is, isn't it? Spliffs are better for you, man. I know. You know, this cigar here, it's alright, innit? But I don't know, it's not as nice as it was last, you know, in the last video that I did. I don't want to get addicted to these as well, because it's about £7, you know, for one of these. So I don't want to get into the habit of doing it, man. Well, yeah, what else is going on in boxing? Dillian Whyte's fighting Otto Wallin in here. What do you think of that? I don't know. I'm not really into that. I'm not really into it at all. I think, you know, Eddie Hearn is trying to sell the fight in it, saying Otto Wallin, you know, he gave Tyson Fury a tough fight. So what? So fucking what if he did? So what if he did? Let's get John McDermott in to fight Dillian Whyte. You know, John McDermott, he kind of beat Tyson Fury, didn't he? But he got robbed, you know, early on in Tyson's career. Tyson Fury boxed a guy called John McDermott, you know, for an English title fight, and John McDermott deserved to win. So just because he gave Tyson a tough fight, it don't matter, does it? If you lose, you lose. If you lose, you have to go back to the back of the queue. So this Otto Wallin, you know, you lost, man. It don't matter if you give him a tough fight. Fuck off to the back of the queue. You can't be headlining a main event pay-per-view show if you're lost. You can't blame him. He's going to take the money, innit? But Eddie Hearn, you know, talking his bullshit, saying, oh, Otto Wallin, you know, he gave Tyson a good fight. Well, so what? So did Steve Cunningham. He knocked Tyson Fury down, didn't he? So let's get him in there. If you lose, you lose. It don't matter. And like Babic, he's fighting that fucking Lucas Brown, innit, on the undercard. What? What the fuck's that shit? Lucas Brown. The guy got smacked up by a rugby player. But then Eddie Hearn, you know, he's trying to promote the show and he's saying, yeah, but Lucas Brown, you know, he got hit on the back of the head. And he went down and he didn't get up. So it's not his fault. He got hit on the back of the head. Listen, most fighters get hit on the back of the head. I used to box, yeah. And sometimes I'd get hit on the back of the head. You know, and you might say to the referee, you better fucking tell this guy not to hit on the back of the head again. And it's not like you're scared, like, oh. It's just one of them, innit? Like, if you hit me on the back of the head again, like, if you want to take it to the streets, we can take it to the streets, innit? But it's boxing, innit? So you have to stick to the rules, innit? You know, so if someone hits you on the back of the head, like, complain to the referee, innit? Because he might take a point off, and then it kind of puts you at a bit of an advantage, don't it? So when someone hits you in the back of the head, you like say to the ref, like, take a point off him, innit? But Lucas Brown, he went down. He was down for fucking ages. You know, he's past it, innit? He got smacked up by Dave Allen. You know what I mean? Dave Allen. I don't wanna diss Dave Allen because I like him, innit? But Dave Allen's fighting in car parks now, you know, in Sheffield. So that's who Lucas Brown got beat by. It's all right, Eddie Hearn saying, yeah, but Lucas Brown, you know, he was a world champ, you know. He got hit in the back of the head. It don't matter. He fucking... Stop trying to... Eddie Hearn's a car salesman, isn't he? That's what he was in his young life. So he knows all these little... Someone says donkey punch. Yeah, some women like that, don't they? You know, when you're fucking them from behind and you just punch them in the back of the head. I've never understood that. I've never had a woman ask me to do that to her. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's a myth. Illegal stream this Saturday night. Nice. Nah, I'm not, I normally do, innit? I normally like watch fights on a illegal stream, but you know, for this Joshua Usyk fight, I think I'm gonna tune in and like, actually pay. You know, begrudgingly, I'm gonna pay. Because it's one of them fights where you don't fully know, do you? You don't really know. What if Usyk's like really fast on his feet? You know, he's doing all that dancing, isn't he? He's dancing, you know, in the little videos that he's putting up, he's like dancing. So he's kind of light on his feet. So we'll see. So you don't know, do you? You ain't got a clue. He looked shit against Cesaro, but Cesaro's lost 12 fights, hasn't he? Who's he fighting? He's fighting that Joseph Parker, innit? What's all that about? That's another silly fight, innit? You know, boxing, it needs like Joshua Usyk, you know, those kind of fights, because it's getting silly now. Cesaro, how many fights has he lost now? I lost a load of fights in boxing, yeah, but I wasn't put on pay-per-view main event shows. You know what I mean? On Sky Sports or The Zone. So, you know, this Cesaro, he's fucking milking it, innit? He's fucking milking it, man. You know, like Chris Eubank Jr., he's fighting this elbow. This elbow, this little nobody. And you know, one of those IFL fuckers, they interviewed Eubank. And they was like, oh, yeah, Eubank, you know, what's happening with this fight, man? You're fighting this elbow. And Eubank was like, yeah, but, you know, my brother, Seb Eubank, died, you know. I've had a bit of a tragedy, you know, in the family. You know, I had COVID. You know, my brother, Seb Eubank, died. We've had a family tragedy. So I've had to, like, have an easy fight against this elbow. You know what I mean? But, you know, Seb Eubank, he wasn't dead. You know, when Eubank Jr. fought fucking Marcus Morrison. Yeah? He didn't have COVID then, did he? You know, his brother Seb wasn't dead then, was he? So why are you trying to make excuses? Like, it's just like Groundhog Day, innit? When he was getting ready to fight that Marcus Morrison, yeah. He was like mentioning Canelo and Golovkin and fucking, I don't know. I'm a bit bitter because I could have stopped all this. I could have ended all this fucking silly talk from Eubank saying, oh, I've got to take an easy fight because my brother Seb died and I had COVID and yeah, we've had a family tragedy and oh, I've just started training with Roy Jones, so I need a little warm-up fight, you know what I mean, to get settled in. I should have ended all this shit years ago. I should have fucking ended it all. I should have ended it all this fucking garbage talk from Eubank. I should have fucking ended it, man. Yeah? But I fucked up, didn't I? And I'm still a bit bitter about it. I'm still fucking bitter. I should have put him in retirement, shouldn't I? You know, Nassim Ahmed saying, which camera shall I look in to tell Chris Eubank Jr. to retire? You haven't got it. Just pack it in. That's what Nas said, didn't he? I love Nas. Big fan of him. Big fan of Nas. I'm surprised he's kind of fucked off, you know what I mean? And hasn't, like, you know, been all in the videos like P. Diddy and fucking Tony Bellew. You know, Tony Bellew. He loves being on camera, don't he? Even though he said, yeah, Cougs. I want to be called Anthony Bellew and just disappear. It's all lies, innit? It's all deceit, innit? It's all fucking deceit from Tony Bellew, innit? But you know, Nas, I would love to see him in boxing now, but he's kind of fucked it off, hasn't he? It's a bit of a surprise, because when he was boxing, he was like doing flips, you know, dancing, you know, with P. Diddy, you know, coming to the ring on a magic carpet, you know, just being really interested in that. What else did he do? He fucking crashed into that guy and ran off, you know, leaving the guy paralyzed. What else did he do that was really fucking good and interesting? Yeah, man, I loved him. I was a big fan of Nas, you know what I mean? So, you know, him loving the spotlight and the limelight, he's kind of fucked it off now, hasn't he? He puts up a few videos on his Instagram, you know, of his son's boxing, but they're not going to do anything, are they? They're not going to do it, man. They're not going to fucking do it. It's like Campbell Hatton. They're not going to do it. They're not going to live up to their dad's legacy, you know? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. getting beat by Anderson Silva. Yeah? A UFC fighter. It's a nice little story, innit? But, I don't know. Nas's sons aren't going to do anything. I seen them fighting, you know, in Sheffield City Centre. About 3 months ago, I seen them having a fight on a Saturday night. They were having a little scrap, you know what I mean? So they were all about that nightlife. You know, and the women and the alcohol and the pussy and all that. They're all about that. I don't know if they were coked up. But yeah, fucking boxing. I'm looking forward to this Joshua Usyk fight. I'm going to be honest with you. kind of want Joshua to get beat. Kind of want him to lose, man. I like an upset, you know, I like the underdog, but I don't know if Usyk is the underdog at all. I don't know if he is. $258 management. They've signed up Cesaro, aren't they? I don't know why they've done that. I don't know why they've done it. They need to fuck him off, man. Like Holyfield, they need to fuck Cesaro off, don't they? You know Harold Graham? People say that Harold Graham is the best British boxer to never win a world title. That's the title that he's given, innit? Harold Graham. The best British boxer to never win a world title. You know Cesaro? He is probably the shittest British boxer to earn the most amount of money in boxing. That's his title, I think. The shittest boxer to ever make the most amount of money in Britain. He's got to take that title, hasn't he? He's got to, hasn't he? Like, he's a multi-millionaire, you know, Cesaro. He's a European champion. Yeah, he's a fucking European champion. But he don't really deserve that money that he's being paid. You remember when he bought a load of Five Guys burgers and gave them to like Dave Allen and his little mates, Danny Morrell. You remember that? Cesaro bought a load of Five Guys burgers. I went to Five Guys one time, yeah. And I bought a Five Guys burger and some fries and a drink. And it cost about 14 quid. And I was like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And I had it and it wasn't even that nice. It was like, I thought this is overrated. Five Guys. I prefer Nando's, you know, Nando's. I prefer Nando's. So, you know, for Cesaro to buy all those Five Guys and just chuck them out to Dave Allen and his little mates, you know, he's making money in it. So, he's the shittest British boxer to ever make the most amount of money in boxing. That's his title in it, like Harold Graham, the best boxer to never win a world title. He's kind of milked it, hasn't he, Cesaro, you know, throwing tables and that, spitting at Klitschko and all that stuff. So, Tyan's got nearly 700 people in the live at midnight and he's smoking a cigar like Al Capone, winning. Yep. Shout out to the viewers. I should go live a bit earlier, you know. I was going to go live about 4 hours ago, but you know that boxing talk with Addy? You know him, he's starting to get involved in it. He's got a job on DAZN. How much is he getting paid for that, do you think? Do you think he's getting some good money for that boxing talk with Addy? But yeah, having a cigar, having a little bit of wine, doing a live. It's good to be back. I enjoy these lives. I do enjoy it. It's nice little... Having a nice drink. I was in town today, you know, buying this Rosé Echo 4s and this cigar. I have to go to town, innit, because nowhere around here sells these cigars. So I had to go all the way to town. And I was on a bus and that's where I found these glasses. You know, on a bus. But I got on a bus into town, bought some cigars, bought some rosé, and this guy came running up to me and he said, all right, Tyan, I really like your videos, you know. And he like went to shake my hand like that. And I thought, you know what, I don't really want to shake your hand, you know, so we'll just do that, innit? Just do a little fist bump. It's a bit cleaner, innit? It's a bit cleaner, you know, when you do that. So when he went to shake my hand like that, I kind of like went like that instead, and then he went like that, and it's just better, innit? It's just, I think shaking hands is dying out now, innit? You know, because of the fucking virus. It's kind of dying out, innit? But you know, when I was in Nottingham on the weekend, I was in Nottingham, and this guy came up to me and he was like, "All right, mate, how you doing?" And he went like that, and I went like that, and he was like, "Come on, man, do it properly." And I was like, "Mate, just go like that, innit? Just, what's your problem? Just fucking do that, innit? Why do you want to touch my hand? You know what I mean? You could be fucking scratching your fucking balls. You could be scratching your arse. You could be picking your nose. Yeah, you could have just been fucking pissing in an alleyway because it was Saturday night, innit? You could be pissing in an alleyway, yeah? You could have been touching your fucking dick. You could have been fingering some fucking woman, yeah? So why do you want to touch my hand? Just do that, innit? Why don't you just fucking do that and be grateful with that? Why do you want to touch the inside of my hands? Like, what's so important about it?" So when he went like that, I went like that. And he was like, "Oh, come on, man. Do it properly, man." I was like, "Mate." Yeah, I've got OCD, you know. I don't like touching, like, you know, door handles. You know, if I go to a pub or club and I'm in the toilet, I will like get a bit of tissue and like put it around the door handle, you know, to like open the door, you know, with the tissue and that. Because I can't put my hand on the fucking door handle. So I have to get a bit of tissue and put it around the handle and just like open it like that. That's what I'm like. I've got a bit of OCD. But you know, the last woman I fucked, she was on her period. So that's a bit disgusting, isn't it? That's a bit fucking disgusting, man. Fucking a woman on her period. There's still a bit of blood, you know, in the bed. And it was about a month ago. There's still a little bit of blood in the bed. So I need to wash the sheets. So you know me not willing to touch door handles, but I'm fucking women on their periods, and I don't know, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. It's a bit contradictory, innit? Call the contradiction Froch. You remember him? Super chat from True Blue, £2. Who killed Tommy Morrison? The Illuminati or AIDS? Yeah, that's a good question, you know. Thanks for the super chat. But you know, Tommy Morrison, he boxed he was in Rocky, wasn't he? He kind of started to like turn on Rocky. He started to switch on him, didn't he? You know, when that black promoter came on the scene, that little fake Don King. Have you watched Rocky with Tommy Morrison in it? Rocky was training him, Tommy Morrison. And Tommy Morrison was like a big fan of Rocky. And Rocky was training him, and he was like trying to live, Rocky was trying to live his boxing career through Tommy Morrison. You know, because Rocky had kind of finished and he was kind of punch drunk. And Rocky was training him. Where's my fucking lighter, man? Come on, man. Where's the lighter gone? Hold on a sec. Sorry about this. We can get back to Rocky in a minute, but I just lost my lighter. Where is he? Where's the lighter gone? I want to have a nice little puff on this fucking cigar. I paid £8 for it, so I want my money's worth, yeah? So I'm not fucking about with this lighter here. I look like a junkie, don't I? I look like a junkie, you know, stressing about a lighter. Oh, I can't have my drugs. Where's the fucking lighter, man? I haven't moved, have I? I haven't moved anywhere. I was getting into a good story then, you know, talking about Rocky and Tommy Morrison. Hold on a minute, hold on a minute, hold on a minute. I need a piss as well, so I need to piss in this measuring jug here. I've got this measuring jug full of piss and cigar ash. So just keep yourselves occupied for about 30 seconds, yeah? Oh, I found my lighter here, here it is. It's here. We're gonna have a little piss in the measuring jug. And then we're gonna get back to talking about Rocky. Oh, I can talk about it now, can't I? So, you know Rocky, yeah? He was training that Tommy Morrison, you know, when that Tommy Morrison was like young and he was a big fan of Rocky. And Rocky was training him, and then that little black promoter, you know, that little fake Don King, start to approach Tommy Morrison, you know, and try to take him away from Rocky. So he was kind of playing the role of Don King, you know, Don King. He was a bit of a thief, wasn't he? You know, Zab Judah. I was watching him get interviewed on a really good channel called Vlad TV. And Zab Judah said Don King robbed him of like $2 million, you know, when he was promoting him. So, you know, Zab Judah, he said Don King robbed him. So that's what that black promoter in Rocky was like trying to portray, you know, a snidey black promoter like Don King. Yeah, good film, good film. I enjoyed that film. I think that's the best Rocky, isn't it? I think that's the best Rocky. Like the one where the Apollo guy got killed though, you know, by Ivan Drago. That was quite good as well, wasn't it? You remember that? You know what? You know the Klitschko brothers, yeah? People used to say, oh, they're like Ivan Drago, yeah. They're from Eastern Europe, you know, they're like Ivan Drago. They're not like him at all. Ivan Drago was fucking interesting. You know, when he said, oh, if he dies, he dies. You know, talking about Rocky or Apollo. He killed Apollo. You know, he was really interesting, Ivan Drago. But the Klitschkos were boring, weren't they? They didn't have anything interesting to say. What can you remember that the Klitschkos have said ever in boxing? What have they ever said that you remember? What have they ever done? What? You can't remember anything that they've ever said, can you? So they're not the same as Ivan Drago, are they? But you know, when I did a video about a year ago saying Tommy Morrison was a cunt, you know, because he got in there and he boxed, you know, knowing that he had AIDS, you know, and he conveniently decided to avoid a blood test, you know, because he knew that the AIDS that he had would show up, you know, in the blood test and he wouldn't be able to fight. So he like avoided it. You know how you can avoid things now, you know, like Canelo, you know how he's got like a stable mate who failed a drug test and then he went to another drug testing board, governing body, whatever they're called. VADA. I think he tested with VADA, failed the drug test, and then he went to WADA. You know what I mean? And they passed him and he fought, didn't he? And, you know, boxing's corrupt. So I felt like that's what Tommy Morrison did. You know, he conveniently, I thought that he conveniently bribed, you know, a little drug testing board, you know, to let him just avoid the drug test, the blood test. So that's what I said. I said he was a cunt, you know, for getting in there with AIDS, knowing that, you know, if he started bleeding and he passed it on to his opponent, and his opponent got AIDS, you know, just because Tommy Morrison was being a bit snidey. So I had a go at him in a video, and his wife, you know, his widow, she started messaging me on Facebook saying, oh, you know, what you said in your video was false. You know, he didn't avoid a drug test. They tried to stitch him up and blah, 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 and all this other shit. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs. I didn't really look into it. I wasn't really that bothered. I was just... But you know that guy there who just said, do you think the Illuminati tried to stitch up Tommy Morrison? Why would they? Like, what did he ever say? Like, what did he ever say that was like really deep? You know, speaking out against the Illuminati. When you start speaking out against the Illuminati, that's when they fuck you up. You know, Barry Earn. He was little mates with that Jeffrey Epstein, wasn't he? That fucking guy. And he was supposed to have gone on little sexual events, you know, with like young girls and that. And that Epstein was supposed to have, You know what I mean? I don't want to get too deep in it, but there was talks of that Epstein, you know, grassing on the royal family, so they had to kill him. So they killed him, but they pretended it was suicide. But so they had a motive to kill Jeffrey Epstein, you know, because he was going to snitch on the elite, you know, the royal family. But what was Tommy Morrison ever saying? Like, what was he ever saying that was that deep? He wasn't deep at all, was he? He was all about the pussy and the alcohol and the fucking being in Rocky and all that. So I don't think the Illuminati would have murdered Tommy Morrison. He wasn't that deep, was he? He wasn't really that interesting. Right, it's been an hour. I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed it. Let's get a few more questions and then we'll wrap it up. Emily Bridges is 35 years old today. Who's Emily Bridges? You mean Ebony Bridges? Yeah, she looks quite nice, you know. There's another woman on the scene. I think she's called Avril Mavi. She's from Australia as well. She's quite nice. I think I prefer her. Coogan interviewed her the other day. And I think she's got the edge, you know, over that Ebony Bridges. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because that Ebony Bridges, she kind of like shows off her body a lot, don't she? She kind of shows it off. She shows it. But you know, the other woman, she's a bit more low key, isn't she? So there's a bit more intrigue, like, oh, what's she got under her clothes? Like, what's she about? What's she all about? This fucking other woman. I think she's nicer anyway. I think she's... Jessica McCaskill is damn fine. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I've heard the name in it, but I can't remember what she looks like. Yeah, you know Mike Tyson, yeah? Mike Tyson's never had a cup of coffee, you know. That's fucking weird, isn't it? He said on Joe Rogan, I was watching it the other day, he said he's never ever had a cup of coffee. That's fucking weird, man. Never had a cup of coffee. So you've never had like a mouthful and thought, oh, this is horrible, I'm just going to stick to tea. You've never ever had a coffee ever. That's weird, isn't it? That is weird, man. You know all the drugs that Mike Tyson's had? He used to smoke weed, didn't he? He said, he admitted it. He said he used to smoke weed. He said he was on coke and all that stuff, and he'd never had a coffee. What's all that about? You never had a coffee? What, you've never even had a little bit of coffee? That's what Joe Rogan was like saying to him. What, you've never even like had a taste and thought, oh, this is disgusting. I'm never having a coffee again. You've never even tried it. Haven't you been intrigued like to have it? Like, just, do you know what I mean? It's weird, isn't it? I went out the other night, you know, with James Helder. You remember him? He was the co-founder, you know, of IFL TV. He's in Sheffield, you know, recording. He's got a little football channel. And he did an interview with Carlton Palmer and all that. Not really into football, in it, but he came to Sheffield and me and James, we went out, we was drinking, we had a bit of weed. I had a couple of lines of coke, yeah. I got on the sniff a little bit. I'm not really a cokehead, but you know, when you're starting a bar, you're having fun and that, everyone's having fun, someone's got a bit of coke, you say, all right, we'll have a little bit of coke. That's what I did, and I enjoyed it. But so you kind of dabble, don't you? So you know, Mike Tyson not even dabbling in a little cup of coffee. That sounds weird, don't it? Sounds strange, man. I don't know. Shout out to Big LaRusso for the super chat. He says, yeah, you know Coogan, yeah? Laughing face. Yeah. Yep, that's a regular quote, innit? That's something I say, you know, whenever I got Coogan. Yeah, you know Coogan, yeah. You know, on Instagram, you know, I can do those little ask me a question things, and you know, in the Instagram story, Coogan did one of them the other day, didn't he? Ask me a question. And someone asked Coogan a question, and they said to him, what do you hate most about boxing? And Coogan said, boxing's full of rats. Do you know what I mean? And I fucking read that. I thought, what do you mean boxing's full of rats? You're a fucking rat. You're a fucking rat. What do you mean there's so many rats in boxing? You're a fucking rat. You want to talk about rats in boxing, yeah? Alright, we'll talk about rats in boxing. Let's talk rats in boxing. You owe me $2,000. You owe me 2 fucking grand. You tried to like fob me off with a little 200 quid. It's not enough. It's not good enough. You owe me $2,000. I went out with James Helder the other night, and every time I brought up Coogan, he was like, I don't want to talk about him. So it says it all, don't it? It says it all, man. It says it all. I think Coogan gave James Helder a contract, yeah. And I think Coogan said to James, sign this contract. And it basically, you don't need to read it all, just sign it. And it's basically saying that we agree to get sponsored by MTK Global. So just quickly sign it. Don't bother reading it, just quickly sign it. So James Helder like quickly signed it without reading it. And what he was actually signing was that he agreed to give over his shares in IFL to Daniel El Chapahan. I think that's what he signed. You know what I mean? You know, without reading the small print. I think Coogan said to him, just sign this. And we'll get sponsored and we'll get a load of money from MTK. Yeah, Daniel El Chapahan. He's going to give us a load of money. So James quickly signed it. But he didn't know that he was signing over his shares to Daniel El Chapahan. So James, you know, when we went on a night out, he sounded really bitter. Anytime I brought up Coogan, he was really bitter. You know what I mean? And he was like, I got the highest viewed video on IFL. Me. I was the one who got the highest viewed video on IFL. Dave Allen putting socks down his pants. That was all down to me. You know what I mean? So he's got a little chip on his shoulder, hasn't he? James Helder. Coogan messed him up. Be safe. James Helder, read the small print. Be safe. Don't just sign your fucking shares away when you got the highest viewed video on IFL. Dave Allen putting socks down his pants. You can't just be fucking signing contracts without reading it. You know what I mean? You know, when I turned pro, yeah, when I was boxing, some boxers would be given a contract, you know, a trainer manager contract, and some of them would just sign it, you know, without reading it. And you don't know what you're signing here, you know what I mean? I'm not saying the fucking trainer or the manager was doing anything dodgy, but you have to read the small print, don't you? But James Helder didn't read it, did he? He just signed it, and he signed away his fucking shares, you know, in IFL. And now they're doing well, aren't they? Everlast, yeah, MTK. What else? What else? They've got a few little silly adverts at the start of the videos, haven't they? So yeah, James Helder, he's had to fucking start again, hasn't he? Start from the bottom, you know, interviewing footballers from the 50s. You know what I mean? We were like 90 years old and that, so it's a bit of a shame, innit? Most IFL videos get low views, to be honest. Only a few bang. Well, it's like, it's consistency, innit? You know those IFL fuckers, they put out videos like every day. So you got Kogan, yeah? You got Umar, IFL Umar. You got that fucking guy, what's his name? Andrew McCart. You know, they've got Oscar Bevis. They've got Razaban. So they've got these 5 guys putting out videos like all the time. Even though like a lot of the videos are just garbage, they're still getting views, aren't they? So they're like consistent, you know, with the videos. So I feel like doing these lives every day, even though they're not all that. They're not all that at all, are they? They're not all that, man. So I feel like doing them every day, you know, just to try and milk it. You know, run this channel into the ground. That's what I did with my car. My car failed its MOT, you know, because I was just driving it all over the place. You know, driving around those prostitute areas in Sheffield. Driving around the McDonald's drive-through, you know what I mean? So sometimes you have to milk it, don't you? You have to milk it. Get the bag. Joe Rogan going over to Spotify, you know, for $100 million. Yeah, he did well, didn't he? Right, that will do. I'm gonna wrap it up. It's been over an hour. It's too long, isn't it? One more question and then we're gonna wrap it up. It's been good, man. I enjoy getting back to these lives. I like it. You know, interacting with the viewers. I was out in town today and a viewer ran up to me and he was like, "All right, mate, I really like your YouTube videos." And I was like, "Yeah, thanks for that." And then he went to shake my hand and I was like, "Mate, come on, just do that, innit? Just do that. You don't need to touch my hand, just fucking..." But yeah, it was nice to... Right, one more question and then we're gonna wrap it up. Give me a banger, you know, to finish on. Give me a banger. You booked a bus to London when you're a millionaire. Lol. Okay, so you're trying to get a bit... You know what? I went on Google the other day and I typed in top 10 millionaires or billionaires in the world, and it brought up people like Jeff Bezos. You know, the Amazon guy. He's worth about 200 billion, but he got divorced in it, so he's probably going to lose a big chunk of that money. But he's still a billionaire. Elon Musk, you know, the guy who made those electric cars, Tesla. That Facebook guy, Mark Zuckerberg. Who else? Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. You know, these guys, you never see them in like fancy Nike trainers, do you? You never fucking see it. I could talk for an hour about this. So this guy's trying to like diss me, saying, "Oh, millionaires don't get on a bus." You know, Johnny Nelson. I was watching an interview of him today and he's at the Joshua fight week, innit? And he was in a little cafe, you know, with Kogan. And he said he's waiting for his boss. You know, Johnny Nelson was getting 200 grand a year. And he probably still is, you know, for working on Sky Sports. But he's still catching a bus, you know what I mean? You know, some of you people who just spend fucking £200 on trainers. You know, you guys who buy like jewelry, who buy fancy cars that you can't afford just to try and impress women. Fucking Holyfield. You know what I mean? You know, when he had the bag, he married all these women, got divorced, had 11 kids, paying out all this child support. Now he's getting fucked up in Triller, you know, to make a few quid. You have to make fucking smart investments, man. Mayweather said it. Yeah? Mayweather. Fucking Holyfield. That cigar was so nice. I'm gonna have one more puff and then I'm gonna fucking wrap it up. Try and talk about Dave Caldwell and the lads in their pants. Yep, I'm gonna do that, but I'm not gonna do it now. I'm gonna end this and I'm gonna go live again in about 5 minutes. You know, just to try and milk the fucking ad revenue on YouTube. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for donating. Thanks for tuning in, even if you didn't donate. You know what I mean? Still appreciate it. So yeah. Be safe, everybody, yeah? Be safe.